Alright, mateys, this is going to be a tutorial for part 6. So I've had a few questions, and I can't wait any longer to answer any of these. So if you all have your music, I strongly suggest we tape it all together so that when you put it on the stand, it's all in one place. And as I've said before, if your stand isn't very wide, or if it's a wire stand, if you put a couple of folders or books up on it first, then you can take and lay your music out straight, and it'll stay flat and it won't curl around the back of the stand. So that's what I've done with this here. And let's start at the end. Down, I've had some people asking about like it from 160 to the end, or from where it goes into 6/8 and 12/8, and how to count all of that. The easiest thing to say is that eighth notes always stay eighth notes, but the way it's grouped, because it's 6/8 or 12/8, is you count them in sets of 3. So like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and except there's a few places where instead of going 1 and 2 and it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and, but the eighth notes are going to stay exactly as long, the same length every time. And so one thing I'll do with my music is I will mark where the big beats are, where the 1, 2, 3, 4 go, so you can tell if it's like a 1 and or 1 and or 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and So I've shown this part here. I put red for the marks for the beats, and if we started right at letter I, it would be like would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and except a couple of spots where it goes 1 and 2 and or 3 and 4 and so just if you mark where the big beats are, you can keep track of whether it's 1 and or 1 and So again, from I to the end, and you can play these on open strings. I was just playing it here because then I can vibrate, but if you want to play it on an open string, stay in first position in open strings. So right at I, 1 and 2 and 3 and go, 1 and 2 and 3 and anytime that happens on the last page, every time that it goes, it's like the dotted quarter rest gets 3/8 notes, an eighth rest gets 1/8 note, count. So at the top of the page when you're doing listen to the recordings, you can hear that happening. Now if we back up a little bit, there are several words on the piece that if you don't know what they mean, I'll be happy to go over all of them. The first thing that's really odd or unusual in this piece is at measure 90, well from 94 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100 and 101, that's a section that Tony wants a smaller group to play. So he said solo for water signs only. So if you are Pisces or Cancer or Scorpio, you get to play those notes. 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And it's kind of fast, but it's just those notes. But if you're not, if you're like me, you're Taurus, you just rest. You just wait for those measures. And then everybody comes back in where it says Tutti. That means everyone. Solo means solo people. Tutti means everyone else. Everybody. And arco, of course, is with the bow. Pizz would be with plucking. other things to know about. Yeah, at the very beginning is pizz. When you have the two notes, you can pick to do just one, or you can do both. I like to pinch with both the thumb and the finger. You can still do that even holding the bow, but if you have to switch to holding the bow, you curl it up into your palm of your hand and then reach around it with your other hand, with the other fingers to catch whatever notes you have to pluck. Or you can use just your thumb and strum, but then you'll get kind of a ba-dum sound. So you want to do it either super fast or pinch it between thumb on the lower string and first finger on the upper string. And it's okay to let these ring. There's a lot of bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da going on up in the other parts. So we'll just go and let it ring. And they should both sound like a D. And then and just know which beat you're plucking on. At letter A, we have gone to arco. Those lines underneath the note mean to tremolo, to go back and forth really fast. And I don't know if you can see my hand, but it's not like the whole forearm. You want to try and do it, and it's easier to do when you're further out on the bow than if you're down by the frog. You want to be above this balancing point, which is literally where on the bow does the bottom half or the bottom third equal in weight the upper 2/3, because that's where the bow weight is going to change from when you're down here and the whole arm and bow weight are pressing in, or here where it's above that balance point. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, triplet, 1. These triplets are going to be similar to what we do later, but if you're counting of the taps, the 4 is going to come in between the second and third note. It'll be 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 3, 1, 3, and 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 bum. So you want to make sure that the ones line up. If you're having problems hearing it, you can listen to just that part in the track and just... If you want to play just D's, instead of trying to... And again, it's all going to be... And then when it slows down, rit means retard, means slow down, before letter B. And then he'll give the count in like 2, 3, and 1. 2. This is going to be, it's in 4, but we only have to play on the top beat, but they're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So don't worry about other people playing on beats that you're not playing on. At D, we go back to using the bow, arco, and on the top of page 2, you'll see everything is down, down, down. So you've done 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's okay to come off. You actually want to come off the bow a little bit and come back and make like you're making an oval or a circle with your bow. So until line 74. Measure 74, second line. 1. That you stay on the string for. So, and then go back to regular. And remember, those B flats are low 2 on the G string. And then when you're on an A string, B flat is a low 1. And if you don't have time to go from 1 to then pluck, it's okay to drop out for a measure and then get ready to pluck at E. And the letter, before letter F, there is that one measure about 4, 5 before letter F, measure 105. Those are all on the ands. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. Make sure that you're on the ands, not on the downbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Other words. The measure number, when they have quarter note equals 110, quarter note equals 80, if you set your metronome to that speed, that's how fast this is going to be going. If you set your metronome to click in between, at the first, from the beginning, at letter B, those would just be 2 clicks for every quarter note. At letter G, there'll be 3 for every beat. So 3 eighth notes for every beat. So when you see in measure 121, 122, that's a whole note with a dot. It's like 4 dotted quarter notes all together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, and same like that all the way until the bottom line. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2 and a. That's another case where 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and the eighth notes stay the same all the way through that. You just have to know that when they're only 6 in a measure, it's going to be, if you hear the clicks in the click track, bum 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 bum, it'll come before and after those.